Banana Slam Jam.
Hello everybody. This video is going to be about what I believe to be the most misunderstood concept in Dota 2. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So the concept we're going to be talking about today is the difference between magic damage reduction, magic damage amplification, and spell damage reduction and spell damage amplification. So if we have an ability like Sakuchi, which does a nice round 100 damage, and we have a hero with no magic damage reduction items. Every hero in the game starts with 25% magic resistance. My 100 damage is going to be 75, as you see there. If we give them the Mage Slayer, it will then reduce 20% of the remaining 75%, which 1/5 of 75 is 15. So instead of 25%, he now has 40%. So all magic damage reduction stacks additively. But when we talk about spell damage, amplification, and reduction, it's very different. So magic damage reduces all magic damage, obviously, magic damage reduction. But if we take an ability like Brain Sap, which is pure damage, even if Clock has all these items, he's still going to take 75 damage from the Brain Sap. However, if we talk about spell amplification, which is not the same as magic damage amplification, we take something like Kaya Sange, suddenly that 75 turns into a bigger number. And if we talk about spell damage reduction, in this case, the Mage Slayer, which says places a debuff when you attack enemies, causing them to do 35% less spell damage, any form of damage that is not right clicks will be reduced. So in this case, if he hits us, notice how the Brain Sap now only does 48 damage. So it will be less. If we take an item like Veil, which specifically states spell damage amplification, as it says, take 18% increased damage from spells, that will also amp our spell damage more than 75. As you see here now doing 88. If you misunderstand what I mean by literally everything that is not right clicks, we're talking about every item in the game, right? So if we have Maelstrom, even items that proc on right clicks. So if we're talking about Maelstrom, which here you see does 83 damage, if we buff him up, it'll now do 99 damage. And if he hits us with Mage Slayer, it'll now do less damage, because it is considered a spell as long as it is not the actual right-click damage. So if you may be asking BSJ, does that mean all physical damage does not get reduced? No, it can be literally anything in the game that is not auto-attacking. We look at Bristle's Quills, 19 damage, right? Which is a physical damage spell. We're going to wait for the stack to wear off. And now with Kaya Sange, does 21 damage. Same thing if you give him a Veil. It does even more damage, right? So without any spell damage amplification on ourselves, it does 19 damage. But if he hits us with a Mage Slayer, it now only does 12. So confirmation that spell damage means literally anything that is not auto-attack damage. And that's the biggest difference between magic damage reduction and spell damage reduction, spell damage amplification. Now, there is one more type of damage reduction in the game, and this applies to literally all damage. Damage reduction flat, which is only on specific abilities, such as Ursa's ulti, which notice here in the description it says damage reduction 80%. So notice how if he's has no magic damage reduction items, he will take 75 damage. But if he has his ultimate on, which is 80% damage reduction, instead of the 75, he's only taking 14. And if we give ourselves pure damage, just in case you weren't sure, instead of the 75 that the pure damage did before, if he ults, it only does 14. So it also reduces the damage of all types of damage. So these are in the form of Spectre's passive, Ursa's ultimate. Very limited options for damage reduction. Eon Disc, doesn't matter what kind of damage it is. If it says damage reduction, it will reduce the value. So I hope you guys understand a little bit more about how all this shit works. I get asked a lot about it in chat. And if you guys learn something, make sure you leave a comment, like, comment, subscribe. Bye.